Hi, welcome to Steph's World, Chapter 36. This is going to be a little bit different today. I am going to demonstrate about, I don't know, 5-7 minutes of meditation, I hope. So hang in there with me. And this is how I usually start out. I do like to have candles around. I have one in front of me. But it doesn't matter because the world that I go into, I see the light. And you will too if you do it like this. If you start out and you stare at a candle for about 2-3 weeks, you have a piece of paper in front of you and you mark it every single time your mind strays, you'll be shocked. Your nose will itch. That's your mind straying. Okay? Your nose isn't really itching. That's just your mind. Very busy. See, the whole thing is we have to quiet our minds. We have to make them nice and quiet. Okay? So that's what we're going to do. Now, I have a candle burning in front of me, but I don't need it. Oh, and if you do the candle, don't make it a smelly candle, okay? And here's something else. Some people do meditation with music and all that. That's distracting. That is downright distracting. Yes, you go into a nice, calm state. But in the meditation that I'm trying to help you with, it is a much deeper level. You're trying to make a connection from your conscious soul with the Creator, or whatever the Creator desires for you to learn. So we're going to do that, and I'm going to demonstrate it. This is a crystal. Crystals have natural energy in them. Did you know that? Probably a lot of you do. This is my crystal, very special crystal. I've had it for years. I don't pray to it, so don't think that at all. But I hold on to it during my meditation. I just let it sit in my hand because the more energy I can draw into me, the better things are. So I'm going to start, and I promise you this will not be that boring. You can handle it. All right, so here we go. Here's Steph, getting ready. Now, I wish you could see the whole thing, but unfortunately, that's just not possible, I guess. Here, got a pair of black pants on and that. Okay, but there's no way I can show you this whole deal, so you're just going to have to bear with me now. Okay. Now, my hands are open, and the reason that they're open is that I'm inviting God, or my Creator, into me, my soul. And I'm going to ask my Creator, please, my Creator, give me the guidance in the direction that I need right now. I seriously need that direction and guidance. I feel it in my heart. I'm so grateful. I'm so grateful. My soul, my breath, and the light that I see is very, very, very special. I think I'm getting close to doing something that I was able to do some time ago. And I've talked about it, but I'm sure people don't really believe it, and that's all right. You don't have to believe it. Ooh, I must have taken some time here. See, when I go into a meditative state, I really have no sense of time anymore because my soul is in that state, all right? That's my soul. It's not anything else but my soul. Okay, now, I also heard some things, and I've heard these before. They're not from this world. You can believe it or not. It just doesn't matter. It really doesn't. I know what I hear, what I see. My eyes are tearing, literally tearing right now. I'm not crying. They're just tearing. And maybe it's from the gratitude that I feel. I don't know, but sometimes it happens. Okay, I want to talk to you about something. This is something that I started out with a long time ago. When I first started doing these, remember this book? It's called Herman's Magical Universe. I bet everybody thought, oh, that's a cute little storybook, you know. I did it in 4 things because at the time, four movies, because at the time I only had 15 minutes. Now I have a little bit more. Now, if I had done it now, I probably could have done it in 2 parts. Now, the thing about this book, it's like it's written for a child. I want you to remember something, and don't take this personal. We are but children spiritually. We really are. We have so much further to go. We're in the stage of Aquarius right now. We're in the state of Aquarius, I should say. And, you know, the thing of it is, we're constantly striving to make ourselves better, to make our souls closer to our Creator. That is what we're striving to do. Now, it gives all the laws at the end of the book, and I'm not going to read this book again. If you want to watch those videos, they're right on my group of videos that I did a long time ago. A lot of people watch them. Now, the first law that Herman's universe tells us about, I'm going to talk about Herman here in a minute. The first law is the law, energy is always changing. Always. Now, I want you to keep that in mind because what are we? We are energy. Energy. That means that we are always changing, okay? Energy is always changing. Our world is all energy. The plants, the animals, everything in our world is energy. Now, we can manipulate some of that energy, and sometimes it's good, and sometimes it's bad. It's bad that we have to watch out for. We have to be the custodians of our world. We are the custodians. If we allow other people to destroy our world, then where do you think we'll be? We won't be dead, but this world will not be around anymore. I can tell you that. I don't know where we're going to go. Now, I've had some very interesting experiences in the afterlife. Oh, yeah. Believe me, I have. Now, the second law is the law of relativity. The law of relativity. Now, real briefly, I'm going to read about that one. Okay, so that you have a little understanding of what we're talking about, okay? Now, law of relativity. All things are relative. The second law says that all things are relative. This law can cheer you up fast. For example, if you stubbed your toe, you could whine and complain. Or you could apply the law of relativity and realize that if you had broken your leg, that would have been much more terrible. So a stubbed toe wouldn't be so bad anymore if you looked at it that way. And a broken leg wouldn't be so bad compared to something else. So any situation is relative to any other situation in this way. Okay, there's a reason why that law is in existence for us and for the world. It's not just us, it's for everybody. It's for everything. Okay, then the third law is the law of vibration. I don't think you can see it, but it's a law of vibration. Now, the third law of vibration, this law tells us that energy vibrates or wiggles all the time. And it does. If you go into a meditative state, you'll hear things. But they aren't things from the outside world. Trust me. If you can get to that meditative state that I'm talking about, you're going to start hearing things that they're really not in your hearing. It's a vibration that you're feeling. And it's a sound that it makes. Vibrations make sounds. So, the law of vibration, this law tells us that energy vibrates or wiggles all the time. Remember, it changes all the time. The fourth law is the law of polarity. Polarity. Okay, now that law, this law means that everything has its opposite. It's opposite. The North Pole and the South Pole are opposite ends of the Earth. Hot and cold are opposites of one thing, temperature. Everything has an opposite. That is the law of polarity. Okay? And then the next law, you'll like this. The law of rhythm. Yeah, baby. Okay. Things are always flowing according to the law of rhythm. Now, this is an interesting picture right here, and I wish you could see it. It's about the black holes. and the white holes. We don't talk about the white holes very much, but they're starting to. Funny how Herman knew about all this stuff way before any of our recent astronomers started talking about it. Isn't that kind of funny? Well, the spirit, this is what it's all about. There was a scientist named Ben Bento, came up with another idea that explains everything perfectly. Now, first of all, energy can neither be created nor destroyed. It simply changes form. Okay? So there was no beginning, and there can be no ending. Just a change of form. This is very important. To me, this is probably one of the most important laws, okay? The law of rhythm. Now, in a way, it's a law of balance is what it is. Rhythm and balance, okay? So form comes into being, spirit into matter. Then form goes back, matter into spirit, okay? This creates time. Time. Okay? Now, this is the hourglass. Something that measures time. If you play with an hourglass, turning it over and over again, letting the sand drain through, then turning it over again, you are actually playing with this idea of spirit into matter and matter into spirit over time. Time. Now we're going to get into a discussion about this at another time, okay? Because I have a wonderful, wonderful book that I am going to share with you. It talks about this. Okay, now our next one is the law of cause and effect. The law of cause and effect. This law tells us that there is no such thing as chance. No such thing. Okay? Everything happens according to law. If I drop something, let's say I drip some coffee on my bedspread. Yep, must be time to wash the bed or the spread. Yep, must be time. Yeah, I have to start looking at things that way. I have to start opening up my mind and not getting upset when things happen and understand that, oh, okay, this is one of the laws. It's a law of cause and effect. If I do something, if something happens, well, then there's going to be another thing that will happen as an effect of that, okay? Does this make sense? Because if it doesn't, let me explain something. If you hit a baseball, that is an action. When it goes flying across the field, that is the reaction. Okay? For every action, there is a reaction. For every cause, there is an effect. I hope I'm making sense. I really do. And that is the law of cause and effect. Okay? See, the further we get into this, a little deeper it gets. Now, the seventh law is the law of gender. Oh, no, can you see it? The law of gender. Okay. This is really cool. Okay? The seventh law is the law of gender. The law of gender is the law of creation. Creation. Okay? Whenever you have made something, you have used the law of gender. When I used to program, I created. And I felt like I created. I was ecstatic every time I made a new program. It didn't matter if it was for any company. I didn't care. I enjoyed creating. I loved it. Okay, now, this is how it works. All things have both polarities in them. Okay, now remember that. That's one of the laws. Remember? That's the fourth law. Ideas are feminine. Doing is masculine. Okay? The feminine is like a circle. The masculine is like a straight line. Guess what you get if you unite a circle and a straight line? You get a spiral. How about that, huh? The spiral is a symbol of life. Ever look at the light when you light a candle? Guess what it looks like? A spiral. It looks just like that. Now, the easiest way to see when a man and woman create for themselves a new baby. It's creation. The law of gender is the law of creation. Okay, now, let's talk about one last thing and then we're going to get into some history. Did you know that protons have a positive charge and electrons have a negative charge? These are the basic building blocks of all creation. The tiny particles we learned about is in the first law, that this is gender. Gender. I had 3 children. 3. They're still my children, whether one of them passed away or not. I'm going to tell you something, and you might not believe it, but I'm going to tell you anyway. The night my child passed away, transitioned is more what I like to say. I was in bed. It was late at night. I was awake. It takes me a long time to go to sleep. Long time. It's because of the serious pain that I do live in. Well, that night, and it was late, very late, I'd say around midnight, really. I was laying there. I had the TV on. I always have it on, but usually I just turn the sound down, and it's just like a little bit of light in the room. My room where I used to live was extremely dark. So I had that light on, just to add a little to it. Anyway, I was laying there and I felt that like a man was laying on top of me, a heavy man who was just squeezing me to death. It was unbelievable. And it lasted for about an hour. And this was so heavy. The squeeze and the tightness around me was just so heavy. I felt like, what is this? Am I dying, or am I having a heart attack, or what? What's the deal here? And it lasted a good hour. And then it was gone. I know what it was. I've always had things happen in my life, in my soul. Always, whether you believe it or not. It's true. Well, I know that because the timing was perfect. I know that that was my child, and he came to me and hugged me to say goodbye. He loved me, and he held so tightly that I've never been held that tight in my life. But it was him. So the next day when I saw the army ladies, it was not really a surprise. See, it really wasn't. Now let me tell you something else that happened. And you can choose to believe it or not, I don't care. My daughter does, because it happened while I was on the phone with her. A year ago, last Christmas, was the first Christmas without my son. And I was on the phone with her, and he loved his dog. Oh my God. Eleanor, he loved her. Oh, that was like his baby. Okay? Well, Eleanor went to one of my granddaughters after he passed. And I always send money to my daughter. It's just easier that way, because once in a while she'll tell me what one of them wants. It's very special, and they'll try to help out and pay for it and get it for them. Okay? But this Christmas, well, I don't celebrate Christmas anymore, to be honest with you, because I don't have any family here. And I only did it because of my family. That's the only reason. But anyway, we were on the phone talking about the money that I was sending her. I'd already sent it. And I told her, I sent you extra money for you to get Eleanor something for Matt. We both started crying. Just crying our eyes out. Tried to calm each other down. And all of a sudden the phone just was acting real strange. I mean, just really strange. Like, I felt like she was still there, but something had changed in the phone. And I could hear this really weird noise, strange noise. Almost very similar to what I hear when I go into deep meditation. Only this was loud. And all of a sudden, I didn't hear Rachel, my daughter, anymore. All of a sudden I heard, "Oh, Mom, oh, Mom," behind the noise. Rachel wasn't on the phone anymore. That was my son who passed. That was him. And he was trying to comfort us, or at least me. Rachel never heard it, but I did. And I thank my Creator every day for allowing me to have this gift of being able to be in touch with other souls that are not here with us anymore. Because I do have that gift. And I thank God every day for it. Every day. Now, let's get back to the 7 laws. See, those laws are important right now because, I'm talking about my boy who, his energy changed. He's still around somewhere, but he's in a new form right now. And remember the time thing? Well, for him, time doesn't mean anything. For him, It's not like our time, okay? Now that's another lesson, and I'm not going to get into it big time right now. Just understand that for him, it's not the same. 400 years for us could have gone by for him in a second. And you have to realize that. Where do I get this information from? The Bible. Yeah, hard to believe, isn't it? We're going to get into that a little bit. But that's where it actually came from. The Bible. Okay? Now I'm going to talk about Herman's laws. I've got a little research that I do. Now I do research on everything. I'm a research girl. What can I say? Back, the ancient Greeks and the ancient Egyptians came up with this. Now, this was thousands and thousands of years ago. Now just imagine that. Thousands of years ago, way before Jesus the Christ came into this world. Way before. Okay, it was the philosophy from the beginning as we know it. As we know it. Cosmic laws. God's order. The 7 cosmic laws. Just gave it to you. Okay? Of Hermes. Now this is hard to pronounce. Trismegistos. Trismegistos. Equals thot. Thought. That's Egyptian. Okay? Now, these were called the Hermetic laws. Okay? The ancient Greeks. Ancient. We're talking 9,000 BC. Ancient. They wrote it down. They knew it was important. Now, it wasn't just the Greeks. It was the Egyptians too. Thought, T-H-O-T, was their god at one time. Okay? One god. The Greeks called it Hermes. One god. Okay. Thrice greatest Hermes. Okay. Hermes corpus, sacred texts that are the basis of Hermetism. Okay? It's called Hermetic corpus. Early on, this was actually a religion. Man has the propensity to create religion from philosophical theories. Remember that. Man has the propensity to create religion from philosophical theories. Okay? Now, what do I tell you all the time? What do I say? I am not of any religion. I am of God. Of God. Okay? God worshipped, or Greeks worshipped their god Hermes, and the Egyptians worshipped their god Thoth, T-H-O-T-H, in Hellenistic Egypt. This was thousands of years ago. Eventually, these became one god in the temple of Thoth, Thoth, in Chemnu, and the Greeks called Hermopolis. Now, you all have heard about Hermopolis. I know you have. I know you have. Now, come on. Think about this. Even if you didn't study it, like I did study it, but even if you didn't, you can. If you get on the computer and look this stuff up, or some of the stuff is being shown on TV. Good Lord. I think I saw something on it a few months ago. Just a few months ago. H2 on if you have DirecTV. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go into it too much more because I'm running out of time. But suffice it to say that both the Greeks and the Egyptians created gods out of what was known and studied by certain humans who later took on the forms of deities in both cultures. Both of them, the Egyptians and the Greeks. Thoth and Hermes were both gods of writing and magic. So consequently, the Greek god of interpretive let's see, I can't read my own writing. How about that? Just don't worry about it. I'll get it down. But anyway, he was combined with the Egyptian god of wisdom as a patron of astrology and alchemy. Very, very important. I want to tell you something real quick, and then we're going to end it. This is way before the Jewish people began their one God wisdom through, I think they had it before Moses, but they really didn't have a real grasp of it. Now, where do you think Moses got a lot of his wisdom from? It's true that Moses, I believe that Moses did everything he did. And most of 3 of the major religions believe in all that too. But Moses was raised as in the Egyptian hierarchy, he was at the top. And he studied theories that were very secret, that none of the other Egyptians, unless they were in the temples, studied. But he did. And we're going to get into more about Moses and the way that he was able to pass on that wisdom. Yes, God did. The Creator did help him. Believe me, I trust in that. I believe in that. Don't think I don't. But I believe that we are guided. Remember the 7 laws, the cosmic laws? Don't forget them. Hey, gotta go. Love y'all. I'm going to have another one about this too. I love you. Bye-bye.